Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we unpack your source material, really dig in, and pull out those crucial insights for you, basically giving you that shortcut to being truly well-informed. And today, wow, you've challenged us with something, well, quite extraordinary. We're venturing into some truly mind-bending concepts, stuff that really touches on the fabric of reality itself.
Yeah, our source material for this deep dive, it comes from a fascinating YouTube video. It features Krzysztof Jackowski, who's a Polish clairvoyant. He's, renowned for decades of work on criminal cases, disappearances.
Right, documented work.
Exactly. But in this particular session, it was a live vision thing. He opened the floor to listeners' deeper questions. And he wasn't just sharing predictions, but more his intuitive feelings, his philosophical insights on existence.
It's a really unique lens, isn't it, to view some of life's biggest mysteries. We're definitely moving beyond the everyday here. We're delving into cosmic understanding, the nature of reality, even the afterlife. We'll try and distill some truly profound ideas from his perspective today. Okay, so if you're ready to explore what might lie just beyond our conventional understanding, let's dive right in. Let's get into some of the most surprising and frankly challenging ideas from this deep dive. Okay, let's unearth these nuggets. So one of the most striking things, a recurring theme really in his sessions, is this idea that the cosmos, our entire universe, it might actually be an illusion. It really makes you pause, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, yeah. When someone asked him directly, is there a second Earth? Is there life out in space? He shared this profound conviction. He believes there are indeed many worlds.
Okay.
But that the visible cosmos itself, that's a delusion. He actually described it as boundless, unusual, and crazy because it's illusory.
And you mentioned, didn't you, that our perspective on space is just hopelessly small? Like maybe we just can't grasp it.
Exactly.
He also had this intriguing feeling that the cosmos is an oval structure of hierarchy. Though, to be fair, he admitted he didn't fully get that part himself.
Right, he was honest about that. But what's really fascinating here, what keeps coming back, is his consistent message. The vastness of the cosmos is an illusion. He posits it's more like a mathematical distribution of possibility.
Okay, mathematical possibility.
And here's where it gets really interesting. He feels that if an observer exists like us, humans, only one part of space is actually activated. The rest, it just remains an illusion.
So, wait, if I'm understanding this right, the cosmos has meaning only when an observer exists.
That's the idea.
So if the observer disappears, the cosmos disappears. Like the observer actually sustains reality.
Almost, yeah. He painted this picture of the cosmos as a kind of dead field. It only comes alive and only functions up to a certain distance when a logical observer appears.
Okay, that's a radical thought.
It is. And this concept, the observer actualizing illusions, it directly led him to an intuitive connection with Immanuel Kant.
Oh, the philosopher.
Yeah, the German philosopher from the Enlightenment. Kant was a professor of logic and metaphysics, a key figure in what's called transcendental idealism. Basically, think of it this way. Kant suggested our minds don't just passively receive reality, they actively construct it. They shape how the world is presented to us.
Right.
So this resonates really powerfully with the clairvoyance idea that our perception is fundamental to the reality we experience. It lines up perfectly with his vision of parts of the cosmos activating only when someone's there.
It's like that analogy he used, the bitmap game one. The whole game's map, all the possibilities, they exist as potential, right? As an illusion. But only the specific place where your character is standing actually comes alive. The rest is just inactive, illusory, until you move there.
Exactly.
So the profound takeaway here is your consciousness isn't just a passenger in the universe. It might be the engine of your reality.
Yeah.
That's not just philosophy. That's a huge shift in how we might view our own role, our power. Okay, so if the cosmos itself is maybe this illusion shaped by us observing it, then what about existence itself? He takes us even further, doesn't he? Suggesting our reality is far from the only one.
Oh, absolutely. He strongly felt that our current space of existence is absolutely not the only one. He described numerous spheres of existence, or circles of existence, he called them, worlds existing on different planes.
And even the visible universe, the galaxies, the spirals, the spherical shapes, that's also presented as just an illusion that gives us a certain picture and imagination of things. He suggested, I think, that if an observer could somehow get to the edges of this visible universe, maybe it would stop being an illusion there. But if no one reaches it, it just stays one.
Which raises the obvious question, right? If these other circles of reality exist, why don't we know about them? And his feeling, quite profound, was that it is deliberately hidden from us.
Deliberately.
Yeah. He even speculated that if we knew, we might want to smuggle ourselves into other places, hinting that, maybe that movement is even possible.
Wow. Smuggle ourselves.
Yeah.
He also touched on this idea that each material reality has a sort of mental equivalent, almost like a soul for a physical world.
That's right. 2 realities for each circle, the material and the mental. The mental, he felt, is more perfect, more universal, but it's an effect of the existence of the real one.
And he connected that to the Christian prayer, as in heaven, so on earth. That sounds a lot like Platonic philosophy.
It absolutely does. Good catch. The clairvoyant's thoughts really echo Platonic idealism, where material reality is seen as just a shadow or reflection of these perfect, unchanging forms or ideas, like the perfect idea of justice versus actual laws.
Right.
So just like he describes a more perfect mental equivalent, Plato saw a deeper truth behind what we just see and touch. True knowledge, for Plato, came from thinking, reflecting, not just our senses.
Okay, so if we can potentially move between spheres, what about moving through time? Time travel, he was asked about that, wasn't he? If visions could do it, or if it could ever be physically possible.
He was. And he felt that while, our imagination, our memory, they let us travel in time conceptually, thinking about childhood.
Sure.
He had no specific feeling for actual physical time travel, not for living people anyway. But interestingly, this spontaneous thought came to him. Centrifuges.
Centrifuges, like in a lab.
Not the typical ones, apparently. He described experimental ones, maybe in 2 locations globally, capable of breaking down matter into primary particles.
Okay, what for?
Well, the stated goal, he felt, isn't time travel. It's to reconstruct matter from those basic particles, potentially even excluding error, curing incurable diseases.
No.
But, he added, this research, even though it's in its infancy, could be useful for time travel, a potential future application maybe.
The source material also gives this really unique and quite precise perspective on what happens to the soul right after a tragic death. Like a plane crash, for example.
Yeah.
It's definitely not what you might picture.
No, it's quite different. When multiple people die together in an accident, he described this immediate disconnection, like a safety switch flipping.
A safety switch.
Yeah. The soul goes through a kind of sensory spiritual shock and immediately jumps into a safe past experience, or maybe a present moment, but in a totally different, safe place. Basically ignoring the tragedy itself.
So the souls just scatter. They don't stick together or relive it.
That was his feeling. They scatter. And he really emphasized they don't spiritually witness the tragedy. He felt it was unnecessary for them.
And this initial jump, it's a process, right? Even if it's not a tragic death, the soul doesn't just instantly go to its proper space.
Exactly. The soul kind of suspends itself a bit. It jumps to a safe place, which could be totally different from where the person actually died. He gave this really vivid example, actually. A friend of his died in a hospital, but his soul immediately perceived itself back in a park from his childhood, a place where he'd been really happy.
Wow.
And only after a little while did the friend's soul realize it was just observing that past memory, not actually living it. And that's how it began to comprehend its new state as a soul. It suggests this period of transition and realization.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And then what about reincarnation? He had an intriguing take on how souls choose their next life, didn't he? Not quite a uniform process.
Right. He stated that reincarnation is primarily a choice. Souls mature, they select the moment, the place for their next incarnation. However, he made a very clear distinction. Bad souls, as he put it, those who have done much evil, they are expelled into the next incarnation.
No.
Yeah, like thrown into places no one wants to choose, essentially condemned by their own past actions. Whereas good souls, they mature and largely get to choose their own time and destination. It's a picture of karma really playing out.
Okay, so we've journeyed through cosmic illusions, the mechanics of the soul, deep stuff. But surprisingly, his insights weren't only metaphysical. He also touched on some more tangible, earthly matters. His intuition seems to cast a wide net, like someone asked about underground cities.
Yeah, they did. And his immediate association was Singapore and Malaysia.
Okay.
But he didn't get a strong feeling, no clear vision, that underground cities exist in the way the question probably meant, these sprawling hidden metropolises.
Sci-fi stuff.
Exactly. He did acknowledge, though, that metro systems, subways, they are, in a sense, underground cities. So it wasn't a fantastical yes, but not a hard no either. More like, look at what we already have.
Okay, interesting. And then shifting gears completely, there's a really practical question. Investing in Chinese currency, what was the feeling there?
Well, he was very clear, this is not investment advice. I'm not an expert.
Standard disclaimer.
Right. But his intuition, it was that investing in Chinese currency would not be a good deal. Pretty direct.
Huh. But he didn't stop there, did he? He offered this sort of glimpse into a future financial landscape, much bigger than just one currency.
He did, yeah. He described a scenario when a global crisis occurs. He predicted the emergence of these investment funds that would be very restrictive.
Restrictive how?
He didn't elaborate much on the how, but his feeling was that people who become shareholders in these funds at the very beginning, right as they form, they would gain a lot.
Yeah.
Because these funds would apparently go up very strongly on a new stock exchange, a re-emerging stock exchange, after some kind of major crash.
So it's less a stock tip, more a vision of financial rebirth after a collapse, maybe a warning about new restrictive systems.
Exactly. A potential future power shift in global finance may be born out of crisis.
Wow. Okay. From the illusion of the cosmos to the journey of the soul, even that peek into future finance, this deep dive has been quite the ride. It's a lot to take in, isn't it?
It truly is. It really highlights how these different intuitive perspectives can offer unique insights into some of life's absolute biggest questions, even if they fundamentally challenge how we usually understand things.
And what I found really compelling, is that the clairvoyant himself admitted, I don't understand everything I feel.
Yeah.
He just shares it as he gets it. That honesty, that lack of pretense, it adds something, I think.
Definitely. So what really stands out to you from all this? Is it that radical idea that your consciousness might be actively shaping reality? Or maybe the suggestion of hidden circles of existence deliberately kept from us? Or those incredibly precise yet sort of impossible seeming details about the soul's journey right after death?
For me, I think it's that idea that the universe, seemingly infinite, might only be truly real where an observer is present. I'm genuinely still trying to wrap my head around that one.
Yeah.
Like, if the cosmos only comes alive when a logical observer shows up, does that mean every time I look up at the stars, I'm literally bringing those specific stars into my active reality? That's a concept that really sticks with you.
It absolutely does. And it leaves you wondering, doesn't it? If the observer sustains reality, then what happens to our reality if we collectively choose to stop observing certain aspects of it? What fades away?
Well, we hope this deep dive has given you plenty to think about, connecting some dots in surprising ways, maybe sparking new avenues for your own curiosity. Join us next time on The Deep Dive.